Chosen one, pause for a moment and listen. What you are about to hear is not coincidence, and it is not meant for everyone. This message carries weight, it carries urgency, and it is meant only for those who walk with God, who seek truth beyond comfort, and who carry a calling that cannot be ignored. If you are not serious about your spiritual path, if you are only curious but not committed, this is your sign to leave now. But if something inside you feels pulled to stay, that is not emotion, that is recognition. God allowed this message to reach you at this exact moment because you are ready for it. There is a reason your body reacts differently now, a reason chaos feels unbearable, draining, even painful, a reason your spirit craves stillness more than noise. Your body is not rebelling against life, it is rejecting disorder. And today, I will explain why. Stay with me until the end, because this understanding will lift a burden you didn't even realize you were carrying. It will bring peace where confusion once lived. Before we go deeper, chosen ones, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon, and share this message with other chosen ones who need clarity right now. And comment 777 in the comments as a declaration that you are aligned with God's divine order and open to receive what He is revealing today.
The divine design of the chosen one's body and spirit. Chosen one, I want you to settle your mind for a moment and hear this without resistance. You were not designed like everyone else, not in your thinking, not in your spirit, and certainly not in your body. Long before you were born, God knew exactly what He was placing inside you. He did not send you here fragile or confused. He sent you here finely tuned, precisely calibrated, spiritually engineered for alignment, not survival. Most people live disconnected from their inner world. Their bodies endure chaos because their spirits are asleep. But you are different. Your body is not just flesh and bone. It is a vessel that carries awareness, a living temple that responds to truth, peace, and divine order. Scripture reminds us that the body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. That truth is not poetic language, it is literal for the chosen ones. Your body listens to what your spirit is exposed to, and when something is not of God, it reacts. This is why you feel things before you can explain them. This is why your energy shifts in certain rooms. This is why your body tightens around confusion and relaxes around truth. God designed you with a spiritual nervous system, one that does not tolerate disorder for long, one that signals misalignment through discomfort, exhaustion, or withdrawal. That is not weakness, that is intelligence. You see, God is a God of order, not rush, not confusion, not chaos. Creation itself moves with rhythm. Seasons know when to change. The sun rises on time, the ocean knows its boundary, and you, chosen one, were built to move with that same divine rhythm. When your environment breaks that rhythm, your body knows. It protests, it pulls you away. It says, this is not safe for your spirit. Many of you grew up being told you were too sensitive, too emotional, too intense. But what they called sensitivity was discernment. What they labeled as weakness was awareness. You were never meant to numb yourself to survive in noisy, chaotic systems. You were meant to stand as a contrast, as someone whose presence brings calm because you are rooted in divine order. Your body is aligned with your calling, and your calling requires clarity. That is why you cannot function well in confusion. That is why drama drains you. That is why forced urgency makes you anxious. Your system was not built for constant fight or flight. It was built for obedience, stillness, and clear direction from God. Chosen one, understand this clearly. When God assigns a mission, He also designs the vessel. You carry responsibility in your spirit, and your body reflects that responsibility. Chaos interferes with your ability to hear God. It clouds discernment. It weakens spiritual authority. That is why your body rejects it. Your body is protecting your assignment. This is also why rest is not optional for you. Silence is not laziness. Withdrawal is not failure. Your body needs space to recalibrate, to listen, to realign. When Jesus withdrew to quiet places, it was not because he was overwhelmed. It was because power requires stillness. And you, chosen one, are being trained in that same wisdom. You are not meant to be constantly stimulated. You are not meant to chase noise. You are not meant to prove yourself through exhaustion. That path leads away from God's order. Your body knows this, even when your mind tries to ignore it. So it sends signals. Fatigue, discomfort, a deep urge to step back. These are not signs of decline. They are signs of alignment. Let me say this plainly, without hesitation. The closer you grow to God, the less tolerance you will have for chaos. This is not regression. It is refinement. As your spirit matures, your body becomes more honest. It stops pretending. It stops enduring what is harmful. It begins to demand environments that match your frequency. This is why some relationships no longer feel right, why certain conversations feel heavy, why places you once enjoyed now feel empty. Your body is responding to spiritual truth faster than your mind can catch up. And instead of fighting it, you must learn to trust it. Chosen one, God did not design you to blend in. He designed you to be set apart. And being set apart comes with physical awareness. Your body is your first line of discernment. When it rejects chaos, it is honoring God's design. It is saying, this does not belong in a life guided by divine order. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are awakening to how you were always meant to function. In peace, in clarity, in alignment with God's rhythm, not the world's pressure. As you continue listening, keep this truth close. Your body is not betraying you. It is cooperating with your calling. And once you stop fighting that truth, everything begins to make sense. Chosen one, there will be moments when you feel pressure to explain yourself, to justify why you need distance, why you can no longer tolerate certain spaces, people, or patterns. But hear me clearly now. You do not owe anyone an explanation for honoring God's design within you. When God begins refining a vessel, He also begins separating it from what contaminates it. Your body senses that separation before your mouth can articulate it. This is why forced social interaction drains you now. This is why small talk feels heavy. This is why your body becomes restless in places filled with pretense. You were not created to perform. You were created to perceive. And perception requires quiet. It requires clarity. It requires an internal environment that mirrors heaven's order. Let me say something bold, because you need to hear it without sugarcoating. Many people survive chaos by becoming numb. You cannot. Numbness would disconnect you from your assignment. So instead of numbing, your body resists. It tightens. It withdraws. It refuses to cooperate. That resistance is not rebellion. It is obedience to God's design. Your body is also teaching you boundaries, not intellectual boundaries, physical ones, emotional ones, spiritual ones. When your body becomes uncomfortable around certain energy, it is God saying, do not pour yourself here. When your strength fades in certain environments, it is God saying, this is not where your anointing is meant to flow. Learn to listen before burnout forces you to stop. Chosen one, you are entering a season where your body will demand truth. You will no longer be able to lie to yourself without consequence. You will feel it immediately. Your sleep will be affected. Your appetite will shift. Your energy will drop. This is not punishment. This is alignment correction. God is fine-tuning you because where He is taking you requires wholeness, not endurance. You were never meant to be strong in chaos. You were meant to be powerful in peace, and power flows best through a vessel that is rested, grounded, and ordered. That is why God is retraining your body now, teaching it to respond to peace as home and chaos as foreign. So stop fighting your own design. Stop calling it sensitivity. Stop calling it weakness. Your body is not overreacting. It is remembering who you are, a chosen one, a carrier of divine order, a vessel that was never built to survive disorder, but to transform environments through alignment with God. Let this truth settle in you. The more you honor God's design in your body, the clearer your path becomes. And clarity, chosen one, is where your authority truly begins. Why chaos feels physically unsafe to you? Chosen one, let me speak to you plainly now. Chaos does not just bother you mentally. It does not only exhaust you emotionally. Chaos feels physically unsafe to you because your body recognizes it as a threat to your spiritual alignment. And that reaction is not imagination, it is design. Most people can sit in confusion, noise, disorder, and emotional turbulence and barely notice the cost. Their bodies have adapted to survival mode. Their systems are used to tension. But you were not built to survive chaos. You were built to function in truth. And when chaos enters your space, your body immediately sounds the alarm. Chaos is unpredictable. It lacks rhythm. It lacks clarity. And anything without order creates instability. Your body, especially your nervous system, was designed by God to respond to stability, not constant uncertainty. That is why chaotic environments trigger tension in your muscles, shallow breathing, headaches, fatigue, or the urge to escape. Your body is saying, this environment is not aligned with how you are meant to live. Let me explain something important. God communicates through peace. Not panic, not rush, not pressure. Peace is not passive. Peace is structured. Peace is ordered. Peace carries clarity. Chaos does the opposite. It fragments attention. It overwhelms discernment. It scatters focus. And when that happens, your ability to hear God becomes compromised. Your body knows this instinctively. That is why chaos feels unsafe. Not because you are afraid, but because your body understands that chaos interferes with your connection to divine guidance. And your connection to God is essential to your survival and purpose. Chosen one, chaos activates fight or flight responses in the body. That state was never meant to be permanent. It is a short-term survival mechanism, but many people live there constantly. You cannot. Prolonged chaos would damage your spiritual sensitivity. So your body resists it early. It shuts down. It pulls back. It forces you to rest or retreat before harm is done. This is why loud environments drain you, why emotionally unstable people exhaust you, why constant drama leaves you depleted. Your body is not weak. It is protecting your clarity. It is saying, this level of disorder is incompatible with your calling. Chaos also removes predictability. And predictability is not control, it is safety. Your body feels safe when it knows what to expect, when energy flows consistently, when words align with actions, when environments feel honest. Chaos breaks that trust. And once trust is broken, your body cannot relax. That is why you struggle to stay present in chaotic situations. Your body cannot settle, your mind races, your chest tightens. You may even feel physically ill. That is your system rejecting what it knows is harmful to your spiritual equilibrium. Chosen one, understand this deeply. Chaos is not neutral. Chaos is draining by nature. It consumes energy without producing clarity. It demands attention without offering direction. And because your energy is meant for purpose, not waste, your body refuses to cooperate with chaos. There is also a spiritual layer many ignore. Chaos creates openings. Confusion weakens discernment. Disorder blurs boundaries. That is why Scripture tells us that God is not the author of confusion. Confusion creates vulnerability, and your body, being aligned with divine protection, recognizes confusion as unsafe territory. This is why you instinctively seek calm, why silence heals you, why you feel restored after prayer, solitude, or nature. Those spaces allow your nervous system to return to baseline, to reset, to listen again. That is not preference. That is necessity. Many of you have tried to override this truth. You told yourself to toughen up, to push through, to adapt. And every time you did, your body paid the price. Burnout, anxiety, emotional numbness, physical symptoms with no clear explanation. These were not failures, they were warnings. Your body was saying, this pace is wrong, this environment is wrong, this energy is wrong. Chosen one, chaos demands reaction. Peace allows response. Reaction drains power. Response preserves authority, and your life requires authority. That is why chaos feels threatening. It pulls you out of alignment and into survival. And survival is not where your calling operates. You were designed to move with intention, to act with clarity, to speak with weight. Chaos disrupts all of that. So your body creates resistance. It slows you down. It forces discomfort. It demands space. Some of you feel guilty for this. You think you should be able to handle more. You compare yourself to others who seem unaffected. But hear me now. They are not you. They do not carry what you carry. Their tolerance is not your standard. God gave you a body that reacts quickly so your spirit does not suffer long-term damage. That is mercy, not limitation. Chaos also fragments identity. When everything around you is unstable, you begin to question yourself, your values, your direction, your worth. Your body recognizes this threat, and it pushes you back toward environments that affirm truth and consistency. That is why you crave authenticity, why hypocrisy repels you, why mixed signals exhaust you. Your body needs coherence, alignment between words, actions, and energy. Anything else feels unsafe. Chosen one, the more spiritually aware you become, the less tolerance you will have for chaos. This is not something to fight, it is something to honor. You are not becoming fragile, you are becoming precise. Precision does not thrive in disorder. Your body is not rejecting life, it is rejecting distortion. It is rejecting noise that interferes with divine instruction. It is rejecting systems that demand sacrifice without purpose. So when chaos makes you feel physically unsafe, listen. Do not shame yourself. Do not force endurance. Ask yourself instead, what is my body protecting me from right now? Often, the answer will lead you back to peace. And peace, chosen one, is where God speaks most clearly to you. This is why chaos cannot be home for you, and it never was meant to be. Chosen one, let me take this even deeper, because many of you still underestimate how serious this is. Chaos does not only disturb your environment, it invades your inner world if you stay in it too long. And your body knows that prolonged exposure to chaos slowly erodes spiritual clarity. That is why it reacts so strongly. It is trying to preserve something sacred within you. When chaos surrounds you, your body cannot fully rest. Even when you sit down, your system stays alert. Your muscles remain tense, your breathing stays shallow, your mind keeps scanning for what might go wrong next. That constant alertness is exhausting, and exhaustion is dangerous for someone who must stay spiritually aware. So your body creates discomfort to force separation before depletion becomes damage. Chosen one, your body associates chaos with loss of control, not control over people, but control over inner peace. Chaos disrupts the sense of inner safety God intended you to live from. Safety is not just physical, safety is emotional and spiritual. When those are threatened, your body responds the same way it would to physical danger. That is why some of you feel sudden anxiety without knowing why. Or a tight chest for no clear reason, or an overwhelming urge to leave certain places immediately. Your body is reacting to energetic instability. It senses when something is off, when intentions are unclear, when words do not match actions, when energy feels scattered or aggressive. These things may not be visible, but your body feels them. Chaos also distorts time perception. Everything feels rushed, urgent, pressured. There is no space to breathe, reflect, or listen. That environment is hostile to discernment, and discernment is your lifeline. Without it, you cannot navigate your calling. Your body understands this and responds by rejecting the environment altogether. This is why chosen ones often feel relief the moment they step away from chaotic situations. Even if nothing visibly changes, your body relaxes, your breathing deepens, your thoughts slow down. That relief is confirmation. It is your body saying, you are safe again. You are back in alignment. Many of you were raised in chaotic settings, loud homes, emotionally unstable caregivers, constant unpredictability, and your body learned early that chaos equals danger. But instead of numbing like others, your system stayed alert. It stayed sensitive. It stayed awake. That sensitivity followed you into adulthood, not as trauma alone, but as discernment refined by God. Chosen one, chaos demands compromise. It forces you to lower your standards, to accept inconsistency, to tolerate disrespect, to adjust your boundaries constantly. Your body resists that because compromise weakens spiritual authority. Authority requires inner agreement, and chaos creates inner conflict. This is also why your body reacts strongly to manipulation, gaslighting, and emotional games. These forms of chaos confuse reality. They distort truth. And truth is essential to your stability. When truth is blurred, your body cannot relax. It knows something is wrong, even if your mind is still trying to rationalize it. Let me say this gently but firmly. You are not designed to live in environments where you must constantly explain yourself, defend your peace, or prove your worth. Those environments are chaotic by nature, and your body will never fully accept them. Some of you feel ashamed for needing calm. You think needing peace makes you fragile, but peace is not weakness. Peace is strength under control. Peace is clarity without force. Peace is where wisdom grows, and wisdom is required for your assignment. Chaos also drains faith, not because God disappears, but because chaos fills the mind with noise. When the mind is noisy, trust becomes harder. Doubt creeps in. Confusion takes root. Your body recognizes this erosion and reacts strongly to protect your faith. That is why prayer feels like oxygen to you. That is why silence feels necessary, not optional. That is why you crave environments where your spirit can breathe. These are not preferences. These are survival needs for a spiritually aware being. Chosen one, there is nothing accidental about how deeply chaos affects you. God designed you this way so you would never settle for environments that slowly destroy your alignment. Your discomfort is guidance. Your sensitivity is protection. Your need for peace is instruction. As you grow, chaos will feel even more foreign, even more unbearable. That is not because you are becoming intolerant. It is because you are becoming clear. And clarity cannot coexist with disorder for long. So when chaos feels physically unsafe, honor that message. Step back. Create distance. Choose stillness. Choose truth. Choose environments that support who God is shaping you to be. Your body is not asking for less life. It is asking for a life aligned with divine order. And when you finally give it that, chosen one, you will realize you were never meant to endure chaos. You were meant to rise above it. Signs your body is rejecting chaos, and why that's holy. Chosen one, this is where many of you finally exhale, because what I'm about to describe will feel familiar. Not intellectually familiar, deeply familiar, body familiar, spirit familiar. These signs you've been experiencing are not random, and they are not weaknesses. They are holy signals. They are evidence that your body is aligned with God's order and refuses to cooperate with disorder. One of the first signs is exhaustion that appears suddenly and without obvious cause. You may wake up feeling fine, but after spending time in chaotic environments, emotionally unstable conversations, or noisy spaces, your energy disappears. This is not laziness. This is your body shutting down unnecessary output to protect what matters. Chaos drains without giving anything back, and your body refuses to fund that exchange. Another sign is a strong urge to withdraw. You don't want to argue. You don't want to explain. You don't want to fix. You just want space, silence, distance. This is not avoidance. This is wisdom forming in the body. God often pulls his chosen ones inward before he speaks clearly. Withdrawal is not disobedience, it is preparation. Many of you notice physical discomfort around certain people, tightness in the chest, a knot in the stomach, shallow breathing, a sudden headache. These reactions happen even when nothing overtly wrong is said. Your body is responding to energetic inconsistency, to hidden tension, to intentions that are unclear or misaligned. Your body sees what your eyes cannot yet confirm. Another sign is heightened sensitivity to noise. Loud sounds feel aggressive. Constant talking feels overwhelming. Repetitive stimulation feels invasive. Your body craves quiet, not because you are fragile, but because quiet restores alignment. Noise scatters attention, silence gathers it, and your spirit requires gathered attention to remain clear. Sleep changes are another indicator. Some of you struggle to sleep after exposure to chaos. Your body stays alert even when you lie down. Your thoughts loop. Your nervous system refuses to relax. This happens because chaos signals danger to your system. It tells your body to stay vigilant. That vigilance is protective, but it also tells you something important. You are not meant to live in that state. You may also notice a growing intolerance for drama. Conversations that revolve around gossip, complaints, or emotional volatility feel draining almost immediately. You don't feel superior, you feel tired. That is because drama fragments focus. It pulls you into reaction instead of reflection. Your body recognizes that as a misuse of your energy. Chosen one, another holy sign is your increasing desire for simplicity. Fewer commitments, fewer conversations, fewer distractions. You are not shrinking. You are refining. God often simplifies before he expands. Your body wants less because less allows depth, and depth is where your authority grows. Many of you experience emotional heaviness after being in chaotic spaces. Even if nothing directly happened to you, you carry the weight. That is because your system absorbs atmosphere. You feel what others suppress. Your body does not numb itself to survive. It processes. And processing requires time and space. Another sign is physical tension during dishonesty or inconsistency. When words don't match actions. When promises feel hollow. When energy feels forced. Your body reacts immediately. This is discernment expressed physically. Truth creates relaxation. Deception creates tension. Your body responds accordingly. Some of you notice that your appetite changes in chaos. You lose hunger, or you crave grounding foods. This is your body attempting to regulate itself. Chaos disrupts internal rhythm. Your body tries to compensate by seeking stability elsewhere. Let me say something important here. None of these signs mean you are weak. They mean you are awake. Most people override these signals until burnout forces them to stop. You are being taught to listen early. That is mercy. Why is this holy? Because holiness is alignment. Holiness is being set apart, not just morally, but energetically. Your body is setting boundaries. Your mind is still learning to honor. It is saying, this does not belong in a life dedicated to God's order. Jesus himself withdrew when crowds became overwhelming. He sought quiet places. He honored his body's need for restoration. If the Son of God respected these rhythms, you should not feel guilty for doing the same. Chosen one, your body rejecting chaos is not rebellion against the world. It is obedience to God. It is your body choosing truth over tolerance, clarity over confusion, peace over performance. These signs are invitations. Invitations to slow down, to choose environments carefully, to stop forcing yourself into spaces that require you to shrink, numb, or pretend. When you honor these signals, something beautiful happens. Your energy returns, your mind clears, your spirit feels anchored again. That is alignment. That is holiness expressed through the body. So stop questioning yourself. Stop apologizing for your need for peace. Your body is not malfunctioning. It is functioning exactly as God intended. And the more you trust it, the more protected, clear and grounded you will become. This is not rejection. This is refinement, and refinement is always sacred. Chosen one, there is another sign many of you overlook, and it is subtle but powerful. Your body becomes restless when you ignore these signals for too long. You may feel internally agitated, unsettled, unable to focus, even when nothing obvious is wrong. This is your spirit knocking from the inside, reminding you that you have crossed your own boundary. Restlessness is not impatience. It is misalignment asking to be corrected. Some of you also notice that your tolerance for emotional inconsistency has almost vanished. One day someone is warm, the next day cold. One moment supportive, the next dismissive. Your body reacts immediately now. You feel uneasy, guarded, pulled back. This is holy discernment maturing. Consistency creates safety, inconsistency creates chaos, and your body no longer negotiates with instability. Another sacred sign is the urge to clean, organize, or simplify your surroundings. You may suddenly want to declutter your space, your schedule, even your digital life. This is not random. Your inner order is demanding outer order. As God brings clarity within you, your body seeks environments that reflect that clarity. Order on the outside supports peace on the inside. You may also feel an increased desire to be in God's presence without words, not always praying, not always asking, just sitting, breathing, being still. This is not spiritual laziness, this is intimacy. Your body recognizes that stillness is where it heals fastest, where alignment is restored without effort. Chosen one, hear this clearly. When your body rejects chaos, it is choosing life. Real life. The kind of life that flows instead of fights. The kind of life where you are led, not driven. These signs are not problems to solve. They are guidance to follow. The world may call this sensitivity. God calls it stewardship. Stewardship of your spirit. Stewardship of your energy. Stewardship of the vessel He entrusted to you. So when these signs appear, honor them. Pause. Step back. Choose peace without guilt. Because every time you listen, you are saying yes to God's order and no to what was never meant to shape you. And that, chosen one, is not just healthy, it is holy. Chaos as a spiritual weapon against the chosen ones. Chosen one, I need you to hear this with clarity and without fear. Chaos is not accidental, it is not random, and it is not harmless. Chaos is one of the oldest spiritual weapons used against those who walk with God. Not because chaos is powerful, but because confusion weakens discernment. And discernment is your strength. The enemy does not always attack through obvious darkness. More often it attacks through disorder, through noise, through constant distraction, through emotional instability, through urgency that feels important but leads nowhere. Chaos keeps you busy while disconnecting you from truth. And when truth is blurred, authority weakens. Scripture tells us clearly that God is not the author of confusion. That means whenever confusion dominates, something is out of alignment. Chaos creates a fog. It clouds judgment. It overwhelms the senses. It makes everything feel urgent and nothing feel clear. And that environment is hostile to the chosen ones because your calling requires precision, not panic. Chaos works by pulling your attention in too many directions at once. One moment you are needed here, the next moment there is a crisis there, then another demand, another emotional pull, another distraction. Slowly, without you realizing it, your inner stillness is replaced with constant reaction, and reaction is where spiritual power leaks. Chosen one, chaos is designed to exhaust you before you can focus. It keeps you tired so you don't pray deeply. It keeps you rushed so you don't reflect. It keeps you overwhelmed so you don't listen. When the mind is cluttered, the spirit struggles to hear God clearly. That is why chaos is effective, not because it is strong, but because it is loud. This is why many chosen ones feel spiritually drained without understanding why. They are not sinning, they are not failing, they are surrounded by disorder, and disorder slowly chips away at clarity. Chaos doesn't need to destroy you outright. It only needs to keep you unfocused long enough to delay your obedience. Another way chaos operates is through emotional instability around you. People who are constantly reactive, conversations that spiral, situations that change without warning, promises that are made and broken. This instability forces your body and mind to stay alert, guarded, tense. And when you live in that state too long, peace becomes unfamiliar. Chaos also distorts priorities. Everything feels important. Everything feels urgent. But very little is actually meaningful. You begin responding to noise instead of responding to God. And slowly, your inner compass starts spinning, not because you are lost, but because too many voices are competing for your attention. Chosen one, chaos is a weapon because it bypasses logic. It hits the nervous system. It overwhelms before you can think. It triggers survival responses. And when you are in survival, you are not in alignment. You are reacting instead of discerning. You are enduring instead of leading. This is why chaos often appears right before a breakthrough, right before clarity, right before elevation. When God is about to move you forward, disorder tries to pull you sideways, not always backward, just off-center, just distracted enough to delay what God is preparing. Chaos also attacks through internal confusion, doubt, overthinking, mental noise, second-guessing. You start questioning decisions that once felt clear. You replay conversations. You analyze endlessly. This internal chaos is just as draining as external disorder, and it serves the same purpose: to disconnect you from peace. Let me say this carefully. Chaos does not always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like busyness, overcommitment, too many responsibilities taken on out of obligation, too much access given to people who drain you. Chaos can hide behind productivity, and that makes it dangerous. Chosen one, your body rejects chaos because it recognizes the threat before your mind does. Your exhaustion is not failure. Your discomfort is not weakness. It is your system saying, this environment is interfering with your alignment. Chaos also tempts you to abandon boundaries. When everything feels urgent, boundaries feel inconvenient. You say yes when you should say no. You stay when you should leave. You explain when you should be silent. And slowly, your peace erodes. This is why boundaries are spiritual protection. They reduce chaos. They preserve clarity. They create space for God to speak. Chaos hates boundaries because boundaries stop unnecessary access. And unnecessary access is how energy is drained. Chosen one, chaos cannot defeat you directly, but it can delay you. It can tire you. It can confuse you long enough to make you doubt your instincts. That is why discernment must be guarded fiercely. And discernment requires stillness. When you feel pulled into constant urgency, pause. When everything feels loud, choose silence. When confusion rises, return to prayer. These are not passive responses. They are strategic. God leads through peace, always. Even when the message is urgent, the instruction is clear. Chaos rushes. God guides. Chaos pressures. God invites. Learn to recognize the difference. You are not meant to fight chaos head-on. You are meant to step out of it. Light does not wrestle with darkness. It removes itself, and darkness loses power. Chosen one, the reason chaos feels unbearable now is because you are becoming more aligned, more precise, more aware. Your tolerance is decreasing because your clarity is increasing. Do not fear this. Honor it. Chaos was never meant to shape you. It was meant to expose what you are not willing to live with anymore. And that awareness is not a weakness. It is spiritual authority awakening. Stay grounded, stay clear, stay aligned. And remember, peace is not avoidance. Peace is warfare done God's way. Chosen one, let me add this final layer so the picture becomes complete. Chaos also works by creating false emergencies. Everything feels like it must be handled now. Every message needs a response. Every emotion needs attention. Every problem demands your energy. But most of these emergencies are not divine assignments. They are distractions designed to pull you out of stillness and into reaction. When you live in constant reaction, you lose the ability to hear subtle instruction. God often speaks quietly, gently, clearly. Chaos drowns that voice by filling your mind with urgency. That is why slowing down feels threatening to chaotic systems. Silence exposes what chaos hides. Chaos also thrives on division. It pits thoughts against each other, feelings against logic, faith against fear. When your inner world is divided, your strength is scattered, and a scattered mind cannot stand firm. Your body senses this inner conflict and responds with discomfort, tension, or fatigue as a warning. Chosen one, notice this pattern. When chaos increases, prayer decreases, reflection shortens, discernment dulls. Not because you are drifting from God, but because chaos consumes the space where connection happens. That is why guarding your peace is not selfish, it is strategic. The enemy does not need you to fall, only to stay confused long enough to remain stagnant. Chaos delays obedience, it postpones clarity. It keeps you busy doing good things instead of the right things. But here is the truth that should calm you. Chaos loses power the moment you recognize it. Awareness breaks its hold. The moment you step back, breathe, and choose order, chaos begins to dissolve. It cannot survive where clarity is protected. Chosen one, you were never meant to live in spiritual noise. You were meant to hear clearly, move deliberately, and rest deeply in God's order. That is why chaos targets you, and that is why it will never own you. Because every time you choose peace, you reclaim your authority. Healing through alignment, returning the body to God's order. Chosen one, now we come to the part your body has been waiting for. Not explanation anymore, but restoration. Not diagnosis, but alignment. Because once you understand why your body rejects chaos, the next step is learning how to return it to God's original order. Healing for you does not begin with fixing what is broken. It begins with remembering what is true. Let me say this slowly so it settles. You do not heal by forcing yourself to tolerate more. You heal by aligning yourself with less noise, less urgency, less emotional clutter. God never designed healing to be complicated. Healing happens naturally when the body is returned to the environment it was designed for. Alignment means your inner world matches God's rhythm, not the world's pace, not people's expectations. God's rhythm is steady, clear, intentional. When your body senses that rhythm again, it begins to soften. Breathing deepens, muscles relax, thoughts slow. This is not psychological trickery. This is the body remembering home. One of the first ways healing begins is through permission. Permission to stop pushing. Permission to rest without guilt. Permission to say no without explanation. Many of you are exhausted not because you do too much, but because you override your own signals. Alignment starts when you stop arguing with your body and start listening to it. Prayer plays a different role here than many expect. This is not about praying harder or longer. It is about praying honestly, quietly, without performance. Sometimes healing prayer sounds like silence. Sometimes it sounds like a deep breath. Sometimes it sounds like, God, I need order again. And that is enough. Chosen one, your nervous system heals in safety. And safety for you is peace, not control. You do not need to manage everything to feel safe. You need to trust God enough to slow down. When you remove yourself from chaotic environments, your body finally exits survival mode. That is when real restoration begins. Another powerful act of alignment is simplifying your life. Not dramatically, gently. Fewer commitments, clearer priorities, cleaner spaces. Not because God demands minimalism, but because clarity requires space. Your body cannot heal in constant overstimulation. It needs room to recalibrate. Notice how your body responds to stillness. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. Your mind may race. Old thoughts may surface. That is not failure, that is detox. Chaos leaves residue. Stillness flushes it out. Stay there, breathe through it. Let the body release what it has been holding. Chosen one, healing also happens when you align your actions with your values. Saying yes to things that contradict your spirit creates inner conflict. Conflict creates tension. Tension blocks healing. When your words, actions, and beliefs come into agreement, your body relaxes. Integrity is medicine. Sleep is another sacred doorway to alignment. Rest is not just physical recovery, it is spiritual recalibration. When you sleep in peace, your body resets. But peace before sleep matters. Reduce noise, reduce stimulation. End your day with gratitude or prayer. You are telling your body the danger has passed. Your body also heals through rhythm. Regular meals, consistent rest, gentle movement, time outdoors. These are not small things, they ground you in creation's order. God designed the body to respond to rhythm, not chaos. The more predictable your care, the safer your body feels. Let me address something important. Healing does not mean you will never feel discomfort again. It means discomfort becomes information, not suffering. You notice it early. You respond wisely. You realign quickly. That is maturity. That is stewardship. Chosen one, you do not need to confront chaos aggressively. You heal by choosing differently, by stepping away, by protecting quiet, by honoring your limits. This is not avoidance. This is obedience. As you align more deeply, you will notice something beautiful. Your tolerance for chaos decreases, but your capacity for peace increases. You feel stronger, not weaker, calmer, not detached, more grounded, not isolated. This is healing in its truest form. God's order is not rigid. It is life-giving. It does not demand perfection. It invites alignment. And every time you choose peace over pressure, stillness over noise, truth over tolerance, your body responds with gratitude. So return, chosen one. Return to God's rhythm. Your body has been waiting. Chosen one, let me add this final layer, because healing through alignment is not a one-time decision. It is a practice, a daily choosing of order over overwhelm. And the more consistently you choose alignment, the more your body begins to trust you again. Trust is a major part of healing. When you repeatedly ignore your body's signals, your system stays guarded. It stays tense. But when you begin responding with care, with boundaries, with rest, your body softens. It learns that you will protect it now. That safety allows deeper healing to take place. Alignment also requires honesty. Honest awareness of what drains you. Honest acknowledgement of what no longer fits. Honest acceptance that some seasons, people, or roles must be released. Holding on out of guilt keeps the body in conflict. Letting go restores peace. Another important part of alignment is surrender. Not giving up, but giving over. Releasing the need to control outcomes. Trusting God with timing. Trusting Him with provision. Control creates tension. Surrender creates space. And space is where healing unfolds naturally. Chosen one, you may notice emotional release as you align. Tears without clear reason. Sudden relief. A sense of lightness. This is your body releasing stored tension. Let it happen. Do not suppress it. Healing is not always quiet. Sometimes it is a gentle unraveling. Remember this. God's order always feels lighter than chaos, even when it requires courage. Alignment may ask you to walk away from familiarity, but it never asks you to walk away from peace. As you continue, listen closely to your body. It is no longer fighting you. It is guiding you back to yourself and back to God. Boundaries. Why God is teaching you to withdraw. Chosen one, this part may challenge old beliefs you were taught about strength, love, and responsibility. Because for a long time you were told that being godly meant always being available, always understanding, always giving, always staying. But God is now teaching you something deeper. Withdrawal is not rejection. Withdrawal is protection. God does not pull you back to punish you. He pulls you back to preserve you. There are seasons when God speaks loudly through movement, action, and service, and there are seasons when He speaks through silence, distance, and restraint. You are in one of those seasons now, a season where boundaries are not optional. They are sacred. Chosen one, boundaries are not walls. They are filters. They decide what has access to your energy, your attention, your spirit. And God is teaching you to withdraw because too much has had access to you for too long. Conversations, expectations, emotional burdens that were never yours to carry. Chaos disguised as responsibility. When God begins elevating a chosen one, He reduces unnecessary access. Not everyone can come with you. Not every voice gets a vote. Not every need is your assignment. Withdrawal is how God quiets the noise so you can hear direction clearly. Many of you feel guilty for stepping back, for not responding immediately, for choosing solitude. But hear this clearly. Jesus withdrew often. Not because He lacked compassion, but because power requires preservation. Even He did not heal everyone who demanded access. He moved by divine instruction, not human pressure. Boundaries feel uncomfortable at first because you were trained to equate love with endurance. But love without boundaries becomes depletion. And depletion leads to resentment, burnout, and confusion. God is teaching you to love from fullness, not exhaustion. Chosen one, withdrawal is also how God recalibrates identity. When you step back from roles that defined you, you are forced to rediscover who you are without performance, without approval, without constant output. That is where true identity is restored. You may notice that when you withdraw, clarity increases, your thoughts become quieter, your body relaxes, your spirit feels lighter. That is confirmation. God is not asking you to isolate forever. He is asking you to create space temporarily so alignment can be restored. Another reason God teaches withdrawal is discernment. Distance reveals truth. When you step back, patterns become visible, intentions become clear. You begin to see who respects your boundaries and who resents them. That information is important. It teaches you where your energy is safe. Chosen one, withdrawal also breaks unhealthy attachment. Some connections survive on constant access. When you remove that access, the connection either deepens through respect or dissolves through resistance. Both outcomes are clarity. Let me say this boldly. You do not owe chaos your presence. You do not owe emotional instability your energy. You do not owe inconsistency your loyalty. God never asked you to sacrifice your peace to prove your faith. Boundaries are obedience. They are you saying, I trust God enough to step back and let Him handle what I cannot. That trust is powerful. As you learn to withdraw, you will notice your strength returning. Not loud strength, quiet strength, stable strength, the kind that does not need to explain itself. So do not fight this season. Do not rush back into noise. Let God teach you the holy discipline of distance, because what He is preparing you for requires clarity, and clarity is born in stillness. Withdrawal is not the end, it is the reset. Living without chaos, the new rhythm of the chosen one. Chosen one, as chaos loosens its grip on your life, you may notice something unfamiliar at first. Life feels slower, quieter, less reactive. And for a moment, that stillness may feel strange. That is because you are learning a new rhythm. Not the rhythm of urgency, but the rhythm of alignment. Living without chaos does not mean life becomes empty. It becomes intentional. Your days are no longer driven by emotional emergencies or constant demands. They are guided by clarity. You begin to move with purpose instead of pressure. And your body responds with calm instead of tension. This new rhythm is marked by discernment. You pause before you speak. You reflect before you act. You no longer rush to fill silence or fix everything. You trust that God will reveal what needs attention in His time. That trust brings steadiness to your inner world. You may notice that your energy becomes more consistent. Not high, not low, stable, grounded. This is because your body is no longer bracing for chaos. It is no longer scanning for danger. It is free to function as it was designed to. Rested, clear, present. Living without chaos also changes your relationships. You seek honesty over intensity, consistency over excitement, depth over noise. You are less impressed by loudness and more drawn to peace. And you stop apologizing for that preference because you now understand it is not preference, it is alignment. Chosen one, this new rhythm may not be understood by everyone. Some will say you have changed, and they are right. You have returned to yourself. You have returned to God's order. You are no longer driven by reaction, but led by discernment. You wake up with more clarity. You rest without guilt. You choose simplicity without fear. This is not withdrawal from life. This is living life correctly. The new rhythm of the chosen one is not chaotic. It is steady. It is rooted. It is peaceful. And in that peace, your strength becomes unshakable. This is not a temporary season. This is a new way of being. Conclusion, confirmation, blessing, and call to alignment. Chosen one, let this truth settle deeply within you now. Your body is not rejecting life. It is rejecting disorder. It is refusing confusion because you were never designed to live disconnected from God's order. What you once questioned, you can now honor. What you once resisted, you can now trust. There is nothing wrong with you. You are not too sensitive. You are not weak. You are aware. You are aligned. And awareness is a gift given only to those God has entrusted with greater clarity and responsibility. As you continue forward, choose peace without apology. Choose stillness without guilt. Choose boundaries without fear. Every time you do, you are saying yes to God's guidance and no to what no longer serves your calling. Remember this, chosen one. God leads through peace, always. When something pulls you into confusion, step back. When something demands urgency without clarity, pause. Your body will guide you back to alignment if you listen. If this message spoke to your spirit, honor it with action. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, tap the bell icon so you don't miss what's coming next, and share this message with other chosen ones who need this confirmation today. And comment 777 in the comments as a declaration that you are aligned with God's divine order and ready to walk in peace. May God cover you with clarity, ground you in peace, and strengthen you in alignment. You are exactly where you need to be.